Hi everybody, my name is Brenda Lee Kitchen. I'm the coordinator for Protect NL, and we are here Sunday, January 25th, I believe, and coming to you live. This is our regular Sunday evening lives. We touch base every Sunday evening here on Facebook. It's a great opportunity to connect, let you know what Protect NL is up to, and talk about relevant topics that's happening right now here in Newfoundland and Labrador that we all need to be aware of. So I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Hi, Kayla Ann, Miss Kayla Ann. It's so nice to see you. Really appreciate you tuning in. And Kelsey, hi Kelsey. Oh man, Kelsey, I know I owe you some money for donuts, so I have to remember that. So I'll do my best to get that sent to you. Kelsey's raising money for Special Olympics, and Amos, he's amazing, quite the athlete out here in Bay St. George South. So thank you both for tuning in, and a big hello to Isabella and Ashley if they're around, and all your sweet cats. I forget how many you have, but thank you so much for being so dedicated. We really appreciate everybody who tunes in here. I know that, people are very pressed for time. They're very busy these days, and we have to make it a priority to stay up on what's happening here in Newfoundland and Labrador, because we know that there's bad things amok. And it's going to be up to the people to help us influence government, the hand of government, and to help us move forward in a positive manner. Right now, we're heading further and further down the road of poverty, which is going to find people like me and you screwed the most. We're people that are rich, the elites, and those, the corporate elites. Those are the people that'll be getting richer and richer. And we're seeing it happen with the recent announcements over the weekend about asking us to conserve energy, which I'm going to get into very soon. Hi, Amber. Thank you very much, Amber, for tuning in. Really appreciate you and all your beautiful words, Amber. Thank you. You know, it's really fantastic to think about how much Protect NL has grown over the past 3 years. And we actually topped just over 8,500 members today. And it's fantastic. I remember at one point somebody telling me that, Brenda, nobody cares about wind turbines, so you might as well give it up. And I remember thinking, well, you know what? I'm going to make them care about wind turbines. And if I have to talk to 500,000 people here in Newfoundland and Labrador myself, I'm going to do it because it's so important for us to know what's going on and to know that, these mega projects really are going to destroy Newfoundland and Labrador and continue to push us down that road to poverty. So it's really, really important to continue coming together. And a huge thank you to all of you for the continuing to share the group and continuing to invite people to the group. We have to keep sharing. We have to keep growing our numbers because that's how government is going to be forced to listen to us. Is when we have more numbers, we can get louder with our voices. We can get louder with a shared message. And we can reach more and more people. And the louder we are, the harder it's going to be for them to ignore us. Hi, Melvin Jackman. Appreciate you so much. He's been standing up to the garbage being left behind by the salmon industry out around Hermitage Bay, sorry. Yes, thank you, Amber, for those kind words. And thank you to everybody who's out there speaking their truth. It's a hard time to be speaking your truth because the bullies, they can be relentless. But for me, I'm so glad that I've gotten used to these bullies because, it's like water off a duck's back. And if somebody's out there saying Brenda Kitchen got me blocked, you put that in your pocket and know that there's a reason why that person is blocked. They're not on our side and they're not fighting for Newfoundland and Labrador. And another obvious red flag that we've seen just recently resurface here on the West Coast, and somebody who knows our family is out there once again trying to claim that Brenda Kitchen and Sally Kitchen are the same person. Now, that is just the silliest lie that I've heard since this whole thing started, because if you really think me and Sally are the same person, you must think that I am brilliant, because I would never be able to have the output of information if I was both people. Like, Sally is incredible, so hats off to Sally Kitchen. We're definitely are separate people. Hi Patsy, it's so nice to see somebody tuning in from home. I've had lives here where I've dedicated them specifically to what's happening here in Bay St. George South. So if you still have people living out here, or friends and family, we really got to get moving when it comes to these salt mines. They're moving into the area. Nobody's speaking up for the people. We got Peggy Margaret White trying to claim the land, and she is the one who's speaking with the companies. And we all know Peggy is not for the people. She's not even for all the people in her band that she got created. And she got band slapped on there, but it's a not-for-profit. They have no rights to the land. They're claiming Section 35, but that doesn't apply to them. So, you know, Patsy, if you know anybody out here, we got to get them moving. And you know what? If they don't want to have anything to do with me, that's fine. I don't have to be involved with the movement. But somebody got to take charge, or Bay St. George South are sitting ducks. Hi, Linda. Thank you so much. Long time supporter. Appreciate you. Dan Farrell, you're doing fantastic, Dan. I really appreciate all that you share on your Facebook. You help. You know, the focus for me is on Newfoundland and Labrador, but I have to keep one eye on what's happening elsewhere around the world, because what happens in the States is often a precursor to what's coming to Canada. So thank you for that, Dan. Hi, Christy. Oh, Christy, you got your moonstone in and your garnet earrings. I love them very much and appreciate you. Yes, there is strength in numbers. And again, our group, 8,503 people as of today. Keep inviting people. And if you've invited people and they haven't joined yet, do a follow-up and ask them. Say, hey, you know, I invited you to join Protect NL. It's really important that you consider joining that group. Why don't you pop over and see what's being said? So please, you know, do your follow-ups. Follow-ups are just so important. Hi, Raymond Beck. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all very, very much. And, you know, during the lives, we can get up to like 20, 30 people tuning in. But know that by the end of the week as well, that these lives can reach up to 2,000 people, sometimes more by the end of the week. So if, you know, when I get off here, please share in the groups that you're in, share with people. I try to keep lives to 45 minutes. And I try to keep them very relevant. I'm always prepared. I always got my points. And it's very important that we get educated of what's happening here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And, you know, don't take my word for things either. Like, I encourage people to ask questions, do your own research, because once you go down that rabbit hole, it's really going to, you're really going to see the truth then, way more than what I could ever help you see. You'll see it for yourself. And that's really what you need to do, is do your, you know, I'm going to throw the different, I'm going to say pearls of wisdom out there. And then it's up to you to do your follow-ups and do your research and make up your own minds of what's happening. Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't, but you really do have to go down that rabbit hole. Wayne, hi Wayne, it's so nice to see you. You know, I'm going to keep throwing it there, like you and Marilyn, see what's happening in the Codroy Valley. Again, you're sitting ducks. There's nobody speaking up for you. Your ADA is choosing neutrality. If you can just pull together 4 or 5 people, we could start a group. We could start a movement out there. Never mind those that's gone silent. I mean, silence speaks volumes, and they take silence as consent. So silence is not going to get us out of this hole that we're in. Hi, Paul Pike. A huge thank you to Paul Pike. Oh my gosh, he just does so much work. We are so grateful for you, Paul. Paul Schmoot on the Burin Peninsula, wherever Wind Fuels is out there trying to have the largest wind farm in North America and a solar farm. And they're still sticking to the hydrogen pipe dream there. They're still clinging to the hydrogen. So, you know, we really have to stick together. Oh, another red flag of people that are not fighting for Newfoundland and Labrador, are here to push these projects, is when somebody tells you that it ain't none of your business what's happening elsewhere. It's totally our business. We have such a small population that we have to stand up for each other. And if we see something wrong happening, we have to step in, which is why Protect NL, we have the name Protect Newfoundland and Labrador, because it's so much bigger than just what's happening in my community. And we have a responsibility to help each other, especially with our small population. It makes us sitting ducks for these big business and elite to come in and push us around. It's like Red Rover, a game of Red Rover. You know, if I'm just going to stand here by myself with no partners and nobody supporting me, then I'm a sitting duck. But if I'm taking a Paul's hand and I'm taking Christy's hand and we got, Bernadette's hand, Bernadette Morris and Ivan Hinks, and we're standing together, they're not going to be able to get through. And this is what we have to do if we want to win back our province and push these scams of wind energy right off the island. And stand up for for ourselves when it comes to what's happening with Newfoundland power. It's just incredible. And I'm going to talk about that very soon, okay? Before I get to that, I just want to say we also have a brand new YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel got like over 30 videos. They're very well done, very professional. They're referenced, they have facts. They were all created by Sally Kitchen, my sister. I love her so much, and she's just fantastic. So please, if you have a chance, go on the YouTube video and share some of our YouTube videos. They're really, really powerful. They cover a variety of topics from Peggy Margaret White to the wind energy deals on the Burin Peninsula to what's happening on the Port-au-Port Peninsula and more. So there's over 30 videos in there. So have a look and see. And again, a huge thank you to Sally Kitchen, who did all that hard work. Really, really brilliant job, Sally. Thank you so much for all that you do. There's really a fantastic team behind Protect Newfoundland and Labrador. I just got the biggest mount, so that's why I'm out front. That's right, Paul. Everyone doesn't care about the peninsula. John Risley doesn't care about Newfoundland and Labrador, and quite frankly, neither do the corporate elites working at Newfoundland Power, okay? Hi, Shane. Thanks for popping in here. Shane Pilgrim. Really appreciate everybody coming in here. I also want to say a great job to people sending emails this week. This past week, we were focusing on the MPs, Jonathan Rowe, he's on the Burin Peninsula, and MP Carol Anstey. Carol Anstey, who campaigned and told people not to worry about the wind turbines, they weren't going to be built, you know, and where is she now? And we could never get that in writing. So we have to be calling these people out. You know, talking about the government is important to do, but we have to name names now, because when you say the government, everybody kind of hides behind this this broad term. But so now it's really important that you name names. Jonathan Rowe, Carol Anstey, Tony Wakeham. Call them out, write them their emails, and very importantly, you have to do follow-ups. Now, the first year or so, like, I wasn't very good at follow-ups. I'd write all these emails, and then they just ignore me, and then I forget about the emails. But now I have a little book, and I write down when I wrote people, and I wait until, like, if they don't respond to me in like a week and a half, I start doing follow-ups. And then after 3 follow-ups, I start calling. So we have to be good at our follow-ups as well. Hi, Blanche. Oh, so good to see you, Blanche. I tell you, there was times when I was pretty low with all the bullying, and I'd be in Stephenville, and I love Stephenville. Stephenville's the big city for me, right? This is where we went for our groceries, Christmas shopping, and I'd be walking along, and there's Blanche looking at me with this big, beautiful smile on her face and just lifting me up. And so a huge thank you to you, Blanche. And Blanche had a great idea. And I'm going to be announcing a new campaign next week during our live. And it was Blanche's idea. So I'm going to be announcing that. So be sure to tune in next Sunday if you want to hear about our brand new campaign where I'm going to need all of your help in order to make it successful. Oh, and there's a lot going on here on the West Coast when it comes to the brand new, or to our airport, which is now known as an aerodome. And we're going to be I'm going to dedicate a whole live to that We're going to talk about Carl Diamond. We're going to be talking about his new lawyer, Trevor Stagg. Trevor Stagg, who had so much complaining to do about Carl Diamond all over Facebook and social media. He's the one now representing Carl Diamond in court. Carl Diamond already had a few lawyers and he never paid them, and they ended up taking him to court and dropping him, trying to get payment. So, you know, it's a tangled web they weave, and we got to keep our eye on it. And if you're in Stephenville, you really need to start thinking about pulling together your own citizens group, because Stephenville, you are going to continue to be a target of these long cons, okay? And right now you're sitting ducks, because nobody is standing up to them. And, you know, try through your town council first. Mayor Bob Byrne, he's new, but you'll know pretty quick if they're on your side or not. But Stephenville, you got to get a move on, okay? They got their eye on you too. They're coming for all of us. Hi, Rhonda. So good to see you. It's awesome to have you here. Another person that greets me with a big, beautiful smile. Oh, Robert. I don't know why Trump talks about China, saying that China got no windmills, because China do have a lot of windmills, okay? So I don't know. Just research everything that guy says. Hi, Amanda. It's so good to see you. Amanda Butcher. Love you so much. Amanda has, she created Protect Our NL Fishery. She was also arrested at the Confederation building and was taken to court. Luckily, she's had all her charges dropped, but she's still standing with us 100%. And she is a key member of Protect NL. We love her very much. Yeah, she's a big dart player, so she's pretty busy on the weekends. So we really appreciate you finding time to join us, Amanda. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Thomas. So good to see all of you popping in here. Yes, Blanche, we're going to squash them. The best part about this all is that, well, it's kind of a downside, I suppose, in one way. But, you know, the rumor that we're stupid Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, they really did think we're stupid. These corporate elites like John Risley, yeah, they think we're stupid Newfs. And they've perpetuated this myth. But the thing is that we're not stupid. We are very smart people. And if we work together, we can win back our province. I know it deep in my guts. That's why I'm so dedicated. Before all this happened, I moved. I had a house in St. John's. I was working a full-time job. But it just, as much as I love St. John's, and I continue to love it every time I go there, I am meant to live in the woods. I'm meant to live next to the ocean. I moved back home. I got off social media. But once I saw what was happening and how wrong it was, I was pulled to the cause, and I am guided in this cause. And I know that we can win this as long as we keep going and keep growing our team and stay dedicated. Yes, Amanda. Amanda stands for the right things, and the people who stand for the truth, and you stand on the morals of love and integrity, mutual respect and integrity. We are the people that win back our island, our province. That's right, Amanda. If we didn't believe with all our hearts, we wouldn't continue to fight. We fight because we believe we can win and bring change. And when we win, we are going to be healing generational trauma. Like, we're going to turn things around in a way that we've always deserved to have things turned around. We should not be worrying about how we're going to pay for our gas and our food and our electricity. It was never meant to be like this. This is crazy. It's crazy. Oh, Robert, you asked me what I thought about Trump and China's windmills. Do some research. China has windmills, okay? So that's the truth of the matter. All right, so I'm just going to keep moving along here. So Debbie, hey Debbie, awesome to see you. Debbie, it's so good to see that you are still fighting for the Burin Peninsula. She has taken on the energy board down there. I mean, they've had a ton of votes, and 81% of all those people who voted, and that are all legitimate, they were organized by the local service districts and town councils, legitimate votes that nobody can criticize. And 81% of those who voted have voted against the Everyone Fuels. So we are, as much as I say democracy is dying, we are still in a democracy, and we have to use that to our advantage as much as possible. So raise your voices, write MP Jonathan Rowe and say, look, 81% of the people voted are saying no. What are you going to do about it? Put the responsibility on their shoulders. And one last shout out I'm just going to say is check out Fox Carter Blogger. He's a pretty smart guy. He got a great background, and he's doing, he does these blogs, and he's entertaining as well. So Fox Carter Blogger. If you haven't checked him out yet, be sure to check him out. Yes, that's right, Thomas. People are coming here. It's a land grab. We see it as a tax subsidy grab. We see it. And the reason why they're grabbing our land is because of the fresh water and the minerals. So, you know, it's big what's happening. It's big, and the people are seeing it now. And we just need to keep pulling together the like-minded people, okay? And if you are there and you're talking about it, if you are there and you're talking about this stuff, then you need to keep spreading the word, keep talking to each other. And if somebody is really against you and they're fighting you on it, don't get too worked up about it. Just let them go to the next person. Sometimes people need time to think, okay? So keep up the great work. Keep spreading the word. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. That's right, Peggy. You know, it's a farce. We see it. Hydrogen is a farce. John Risley, World Energy, GH2 let it go. Pattern Energy let it go. But the other companies are still hanging in there for those tax subsidies. You know, we're seeing the truth. So keep looking for the other people who see the truth. That's right. We got to... Sorry about that. Just trying to make sure I see everybody's comments here. 19 new comments are all flying by me. That's right. Our government was elected to represent our best interest. And that's our best interest, our public interest, not their private interest, okay? And that's where we really have to hold them accountable and remind them of that. And when we're saying our government, but look at who your government is. So Hal Cormier is our MHA. We need to hold Hal Cormier responsible in our area. I mean, Hal Cormier told me not to worry about the wind turbines. He told a lot of people not to worry about the wind turbines. So write Hal Cormier and say, look, Hal, you told me, Hal, what the hell? You told me not to worry about the wind turbines. And now here's John Risley shopping the wind turbine, a new scam. I mean, he's gone from wind turbines and hydrogen plants and AI data centers, and now we got this new scam, and we also got the federal government already talking about giving them money and supporting them. So, you know, call out these people, put their names out there. That's right, Amanda. Andrew Fury, ridiculous. Put Newfoundland on the London Stock Exchange in 2023. You got her, Amanda. Amanda checked that out herself. It's absolutely crazy. Jeff Dwyer told constituents not to worry about the turbines. He's down on the Burin Peninsula. Paul Pike, the MHA, he's down there on the Burin Peninsula. He got voted back in because he was telling people not to worry about them. Call these people out. That's right, Blanche. We all have to call them out now. So I'm going to jump right into the topic of tonight's live. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. I get excited. And then I look at the time and I'm like, oh, they're not going to want to listen to me for that long. But hang in there, okay? The information is good. So the real reason we are threatened with rolling blackouts. And yeah, I think threatened is the right word to use. I mean, they're threatening if we don't turn down. And I mean, like, we're conserving our energy anyway. We know that we have to turn the lights off if we're not in a room. We don't leave the TV going if we're gone to bed. Like, we conserve energy anyway. But to tell us to turn down our heat, you know, to below room temperature when it's cold outside, to further conserve our energy, and then to say that they're going to do rolling blackouts with no notice given. So, you know, are they going to be doing this to the industry? Are they going to be doing this to the big guys? Because once again, it seems like it's the little guys that are absorbing the brunt of what's happening with Newfoundland Labrador power, okay? You know, we could be, no notice given, could be stuck in a business. So what, I'm going to be trapped in the business with the rolling blackout? What if I'm out pumping gas? What, I'm going to be stuck in the middle of pumping gas? What if I'm at the airport? What about the people who need to use, you know, they have oxygen machines and they need it for medical equipment. So we don't get any notice? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the mismanagement of Newfoundland and Labrador power is just astonishing. And they're attempting to push responsibility of their mismanagement on us and threaten us with rolling blackouts if we don't buckle down so that they can tighten their belt when it comes to the power usage. And I'm going to tell you what's really going on with that power now in a minute. They've also had several reasons why they're claiming problems. First, they said it was because of the extreme cold. Now, it was colder than this last year, so, you know, that was one argument they had. And then they had another argument that it was because of the frazzle that they're experiencing. And then they had another argument that it was higher demands. I mean, can they decide what the reason is? Like, what is the story here? Is it one of them? Is it all of them? So when people are bouncing around, you know, it's also a red flag that they haven't decided what the real story is. It's just about confusing the people. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Krista Banfield, just want to say thank you for popping in here. I know you're from St. John's, and you knew me before I became an activist, so you know I'm not crazy. But what's happening here is really wrong, and the people are being targeted, and things are going to get worse for us. And I think you knew Carl Diamond, hey? So we're being targeted by a lot of con artists now. They're moving in on us. It's really, really scary, and this is one of the reasons why we're standing up. Primarily my issue is the mega wind to hydrogen projects, but there's a lot more going on here. Yes, and Newfoundland Hydro. That's right, Sally. Thank you for reminding me that. Yeah, that's right, Debbie. Why are blackouts needed? I'm going to tell you now why they're claiming that they need it, okay? And Peggy, excellent. I wanted to raise that point too. So this is the other thing. They got us running around like chickens with our head cut off. They're telling us to get heat pumps installed. And Halapu had a huge program where they were giving away these I believe it was $5,000 heat pumps for free to their members and encouraging people to get rid of their wood stoves. So there was a huge push on heat pumps. There was a huge push on electric vehicles. And you're telling me that we don't even have the capacity to handle our residential needs? Once again, the residents, the people of our province, our needs are coming last. And then we are the ones that they're telling to conserve energy. The ones that are telling us to turn our heat down past the room temperature on a cold day. Why is it us, the average consumer and seniors, having to deal with this stuff? They're also squeezing us with the price of gas and the price of food. They're coming at us from all angles. We have to come together now. And I gotta say too, I mean, we can't forget artificial intelligence, AI. What is the added strain of that on our electrical? And we also export energy to Quebec. And Quebec has quite a lot of data centers. So we need to think about that as well. Newfoundland and Labrador is hydro rich. We just spent $13.5 million on Muskrat Falls. $13.5 million on Muskrat Falls, and we still don't have enough energy to handle our residential needs. And Newfoundland Power has to come to us to get us to turn down our heat. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're always trying to stick it to the little guy. It's all about power, control. It's about people. Oh, thank you, Sally. 13.5 billion. That's quite a difference. I really appreciate your help. See, we're different people. Or different people. That's right, Amanda. Don't give up your wood stove. And as we lose more and more land to these wind energy projects, where are you going to be cutting your wood to? You know, it's all about squeezing the little guy. It's all about power control. It's about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And the poorer we are, the more control they will have on us, because we will be dependent. This is where we have to stand together, okay? You know, I was thinking the other day when I walked down, you know, I like to rent places, and I like to stay in different places all over the island. And one of the things I enjoy the most is getting up and going for a walk at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I love it. It's so peaceful. And I was in Stephenville one time, and I walked down Main Street at 4 o'clock in the morning. All the lights was going. The businesses were all lit up. Televisions in the windows just going on and playing. Christmas lights on all the poles. I'm looking around and I'm like, I thought we were, you know, everybody was concerned about climate change. I thought everybody was trying to get to net zero. No, we're the ones that's being pushed to give up and to sacrifice. We are the ones that are squeezing, not industry, not business. It's incredible. So here, I'm going to tell you now the real reason why we are being told to be cold on this stormy weekend. That's right, Dan. You got her, Pontiac. You got her. So Dan Farrell just said, you can be sure government will use the case of insufficient supply or power or threat of it to advance the need for wind turbines and solar farms and smart meters. So be prepared for that, okay? Do your research on this stuff. Do your research on smart meters as well. We already know that that's what the Consumer Advocate is pushing, and they're having problems with smart meters all over Canada. They present a problem. They make up a problem. They attempt to substantiate it, and then they're going to provide the solution. This is where we have to be very careful, and we have to push up. Amanda, I told Tony Wakeham today to shut off the power in government buildings. A few hours later, they say the post saying they did it. They don't do anything unless they're backed into a corner. Yes, you're darn right, Amanda. They don't do anything unless they're backed into a corner. And this is where we have to name names and hold them accountable. So look, here's what's going on with Newfoundland Labrador Power. They're focusing on export. They're not focusing on residential needs. Once again, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are coming last. Sally found this graph. Is fantastic. It's a pie chart, and it shows the end use of energy demand in our province by sector. It discusses the energy demands in 2020, and you know, only 17% was residential. So this is available in our Protect NL group, and only 17% of it is residential. You know, the rest is commercial, industrial, and transportation. I don't know what transportation it is, unless that's all being exported to where people have electric vehicles. But the industrial is 40%. So we're exporting like 84% of our energy in 2020. So I don't know if there's any new numbers out there now. If there are, let's see them. And don't take people's words for numbers. Ask them to show you the graphs. I mean, I have somebody in Protect NL, a very smart person that people listen to, rhyming off numbers. And I'm like, man, that don't sound right. So push them for facts. Push them for sources as well. So they're really focused because they're selling so much of our electrical. There's more demands for the power than what we are producing, and it's not for the residents. This is the problem. And so Newfoundland Labrador Power is attempting to tighten their belts, and they're trying to get us to be the ones to tighten our belts. Again, they go after the little guy, okay? So if they really cared about the power, they'd be looking at where it's being exported to. Yes, I'm so glad that, Debbie, you're saying that. Newfoundland is not increasing in population. I believe that it's been saying stable. I believe that it's being said the population is staying relatively stable, and they're going to be trying to blame it, shift the blame on that, but that is not the case. So it's not an increase in population, it's exporting. Yeah, no, sorry about that, Christopher. I believe that you're wrong there. But Sally, why don't you go into our group and find the chart yourself, and then you can do some research. And yeah, I was referring to the numbers that you were pushing out there. It really seemed like you were kind of regurgitating the arguments of Newfoundland and Labrador power. So that's where we have to be critical, ask questions, and look for sources. So Newfoundland and Labrador Power, they are insisting that there is a problem and they'll produce a solution. And just like Dan said, it could be wind energy, solar panels, or smart meters. None of this is reliable. And we've been continuing to ask if the wind energy companies, John Risley did express an interest that he wanted to tie into our grid because he wanted his wind turbines to turn even when the wind couldn't turn them. Okay, and we can't get any straight answers of who's paying for that electricity. Is it the residents of Newfoundland and Labrador, or is it the companies? And we know that government just don't have any answers. They don't have any answers. That's why they can't answer us. They got nothing. They're too busy looking at corporate interest, and that's exactly what Newfoundland and Labrador Power is doing as well. And we got to look at the fact that there's very, very poor management, And what they're doing is it's a private company, and they're too busy looking at their own fat ass pockets, paying themselves big salaries, big bonuses, and making sure their shareholders are getting money back instead of reinvesting into our systems and making the proper upgrades to focus on residents of Newfoundland and Labrador, because it's the people of Newfoundland and Labrador that are continuing to be screwed every single time. And this is where the people have to stand up, and we have to push back. And I'm going to tell you some things that we can do now in a minute, okay? You know, the residents, we have to come first. We're paying more for electricity than Quebec. I mean, this is ridiculous. We live here. It's our resources. We're hydro rich. We should not have to even be looking at wind energy, to be honest with you. Wind energy or solar energy. And the two wind farms that we currently have, they're not doing us any favors. And they're only small wind farms. One in St. Lawrence and one in... Now, sometimes I mixes up the names. I says Renews for Moose. But, you know, there's no benefits coming to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians from those two wind farms. And there's nothing worked into the... And there's nothing being worked into these projects with these mega projects. Nothing. So, and if there were, they'd be bragging about it. But there's not, okay? So we really need to be pushing back. Yeah, Paul, we looked into the population numbers, and there's really not that. I know that immigration is increasing, but we did double check the numbers today. I'm not sure what they are, but it's not enough to substantiate this claim that we have a large population now, or there's been a huge increase. But I'll tell you what, we'll get the numbers on that and we'll post it in the group, because it is an argument I've seen out there. But there is a slight increase, but is not substantially increasing enough for this huge demand to be the case there now. So again, just to quickly recap, the real problem here is that Newfoundland and Labrador Power is focusing on export. They're not focusing on the residential needs of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. At least 84% of our power is being exported. I've seen another number out there of 90%. So maybe there's there's other graphs or charts or numbers. This is where we all have to do the research together and share information. I wish I knew it all, I tell you. But I am on information overload most of the time. This is why I'm saying, like, don't take my word for things. Just take my stuff as teasers, and you have to go down that rabbit hole yourself. That's right, Amanda. Where does all the money go? The money is going back to the shareholders and to the fat ass pockets of the CEOs and management. And once again, is the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. I mean, there's no way they should be asking our seniors to be turning down their temperatures below room temperature on a cold weekend. Enough is enough. Like, stop it. Back off. Get your own sandwich, man. We have to stand up together. We are a small population, which is why it makes it even more important that we stand up. Listen, and know that we don't need everybody's help. We don't need all the people. We just need enough people who see the truth and enough people that's willing to take dedicated action to continue to move forward, okay? We can do this. We can do this. Yes, Sally, that's right. The last 3 years, our population's holding close to about 550,000 people. That's right. Hey, Sandra, thanks for tuning in. I sure wish Bay St. George South would come together. If you know anybody around, I have lives out there that are specific, focusing on Bay St. George South. Things are only going to get worse. They're targeting all of Newfoundland and Labrador. Bay St. George South is no different. Stephenville, the Burin Peninsula. I mean, what's happening is big. It's all across the island, and this is where we have to stand together, okay? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Listen, there is hope. There is hope that we can come together and we can take action together. And this is where, look, I'm okay listening to the talkers for a short time, but after a short time, I'm really done with them because I want people who are willing to talk. Yeah, let's talk about it, but you have to take action. It has to be more than just talking. And each and every one of us, we're being pulled to the cause. We know what's happening is wrong. And now you need to take a hard look at yourself and ask yourself, what is the action that you're being pulled to do? Okay? What is the action that you're being pulled to do? Because action is key. Hey, Christine, a big shout out to Christine Burke. She's been fighting the wind turbines up in Ontario. She's had a lot of great wins up there. And she's also come and helped educate Newfoundlanders and Labradorians here in our province. Definitely somebody who knows that we have to be sticking together, not just in Newfoundland and Labrador, but even across the country. So hats off to you, Christine. I'm so glad nobody told you that this ain't your business. And because it's ridiculous when people say that. And it's a red flag to tell you who is not fighting for our province. Oh, Amber, I'm so glad you mentioned this. We also need to watch the divide. One of the government's biggest weapons on the people. We are the people. It's a ploy by the government to stress us out and get at each other's throats. We need small groups of people to help orchestrate the different needs of the people and create our own sources. I am so glad you mentioned that. And look, you only need to have like 1 or 2 people to start a group, okay? It doesn't need to be big. Like when I started this, I remember reaching out to my sister and I was like, look, there's something bad happening here in our province. I need your help. And she was like, I'm here, Brenda. I'm here for you. And so we continued to move forward. And I drove across the island. I had a petition and I just slowly gathered up as many people as I could. And our first petition only had like 300 signatures, which was more than what people thought I was going to get at the time. I remember Eddie Joyce, he's the MHA in Corner Brook area. He was like, you're not even going to get 100 people, Brenda. And I was like, I'm going to get 1,000. But I worked hard and a group of us got 300 signatures. It was presented in the House of Assembly, but I knew that wasn't enough. So we did another petition. And the next petition, there was 3,000 signatures. We just got to keep hammering at them and hammering at the government, and calling these people out by name. So just like Amber said, start your groups, get your movements off the ground. Again, I look at Codroy Valley, Wayne Macquarie, you and your wife, you're a power couple. I mean, Codroy Valley United, a group that got started. When groups get started and go silent, it's wrong and it's bad news for the area. Somebody got to them, either somebody bought them off or they think that they can protect your area by being quiet, and it doesn't work that way. These people, they don't care about us, okay? We've seen the same things happening on the Port-au-Port Peninsula. Groups being formed, groups going quiet. you know, if they're gone quiet, you have to speak up for yourself. You can't be depending on a certain group or people to do your talking for you. This is where we all have to start speaking now, speaking our truth. So get your groups together. Again, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, it's enough to get started, okay? And if you're in an area and you're by yourself, contact me and you'll be a part of our group, and I'll give you all kinds of suggestions of what you can do in your community, okay? You're never alone in this, although it can feel very lonely at times. You are not alone. There is a group of us, and we're all across the island, and we're getting bigger and bigger all the time. And we can push, and we are seeing through the scams and the lies. There's a lot of brave truth tellers out there now and pure hearts, and we really need to keep coming together and pushing together. And this is where strategy will come into play. This is when, like, if I throw a campaign and we're going to push a campaign now, this is where all of our voices coming together can make those campaigns successful. And we will be launching a campaign next week. Hey, Emma. Emma just popped in here. Emma, she's Emma Carter on Facebook, but her name is Emma Bartlett, And we love you, Emma. She's mystical, she's ethereal, she's amazing. And if Emma speaks, I really hope that people listen to her, because she sees the truth and she is on our side 100%. And she also knows we can win. Just keep your eye on the ball. Keep going forward. And anybody that's bullying you or gives you a hard time on the computer, block them and move on. And like I said, if somebody says, Brenda got me blocked, yeah, take that as a red flag. They're not working for Newfoundland and Labrador. They're not here to help us. They're here to push the projects through. So take that as a as a tip off that they're not here for me and you, okay? They're looking for somebody else. Hey, Bruce, thanks so much for popping in. I really appreciate all your comments and feedback. A lot of really great feedback in the Protect NL group. Thank you. So other things that we can do about what is happening to us. Talk to each other. Find the like-minded people. You got to start naming names with the government now. You got to start calling them out individually, okay? So Paul Pike, Jonathan Rowe, Jeff Dwyer, Hal Cormier, Carol Anstey, all these people that lied to get your vote, call them out. And then if they don't get back to you in a week or 2, call them out again. Write them another email. And you're going to make, like, if you're anything like me, I got to keep a notebook. I got to keep track of this now, okay? And then at some point, if they ignore me after 3 emails, and publish your letter in Protect NL, inspire other people to take action. Sometimes it's really hard for people to find their words, but we can help each other with that. And I tell you, once you write your first letter or you find your way forward with your first letter, it will get easier every time, okay? It's going to get easier. There's times when I feel nervous too. Like, I don't like calling open line, I tell you. And I like Paddy Daly. I like him. I think he's done a great job giving us a medium where we can reach people in their homes. They're actually fantastic. They're really fantastic. And we have to be using open line to reach all those people. It's free advertising. Patty asks intelligent questions, and he does a good back and forth. Like, don't be afraid of Patty Daly. And it's not about Patty Daly if you call open line. It's about reaching all those people across the island that is listening to open line. It's really important that we keep doing that. So call these people out. Think about what is your role here. There's Patty, there's Tim Connors on CBC as well. There's also, like, a lot of you listen to podcasts. Write those people as well. See if they'll give us some airtime. There's a lot of really good writers as well. I know that Terry Strang from Harbor Grace, he's fantastic. He's a really good writer. I'm like, man, you need to be writing these national papers. Let's get bigger. Go to Globe and Mail. Get those people, educate them on what's happening, because one thing our government, and it's like Amanda said earlier, you have to back these people in a corner, and then you're going to see some action. You're going to see some results. I mean, Amanda got an offer from a politician to have a meeting already. So, I mean, they don't want her calling them out by name on Facebook so much that they've contacted her for a meeting. This is where you have to keep the pressure on, okay? And they do not want bad press. For the past 3 years, I wanted to work with Tony Wakeham. I thought I was so green. We'll use a different definition of green here. But I was so naive in the beginning that I really thought that the government was going to help us, the Liberal government. And so I was writing letters and making phone calls. I called Lloyd Parrott. I called Barry Petton. I spoke to all of these people way back in the beginning, and they had no problems talking to me because there was no Protect NL back then. And through talking to them, I saw the truth of the matter. And that's when I turned to the PCs. I mean, Liberals aren't going to help us. So then I was like appealing to the PCs, and Tony wouldn't have anything to do with us. And the only time that guy called me back, the only time he called me back was when he thought I was going to give him bad press. And I was like, Tony, I'm not going to give you bad press. I want to work with you. And he never had anything to do with me after that. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, we need to give them bad press. Tell the media what's happening. Remember, this is also a government that has no answers to these mega projects, but they're pushing them forward anyway. And they had women were arrested. We're still going through the courts. I mean, there's all kinds of, I'm going to call them hooks that you can use to grab media support. So write the media. Well, the people that we need to start with emailing is the MHA of your area, the NP of your area. Copy Tony Wakeham every single time, premier@gov.nl.ca, and look at the national media and write them as well. And if we need to help each other find those emails, and look at the celebrities, Newfoundland celebrities that you think could help us as well. Like I know I suggested Rick Mercer, Sean Majunder, and everybody's like, oh, they're all sold out. Well, you know what? Like, you got to contact them anyway. You got to contact them anyway. Don't take people's words that they're all sold out, okay? Contact them anyway, especially if you have some sort of personal connection. Like if I try to contact someone that I have no connection with, what they do is they call that a cold call, and they're not as successful as what they call a warm touch. And a warm touch is when you know the person or you have some sort of connection. So give it some thought. You have to do the follow-ups. Inspire other people to take action. And if you're somebody out there that, you know, you're willing to take physical action, and please, 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 any physical action such as protests has to be non-violent and law-abiding. Protect NL. We stand behind, we are all about protests. Yes, 100%. But we will make sure that they are peaceful, and we will make sure that they are law-abiding. So if you are somebody that realizes that at some point we are going to have to take physical action, I'm asking you to commit to that. Message me here on Facebook, send me your name and your email. And you know what? If you're out there, you should subscribe to Protect NL newsletter. You can do that through our website, you know, just in case they take down Facebook and we don't have any way to communicate. We have to have another way to communicate. And email is a great way. And, you know, once you get to know me, I'm happy to give you my cell phone number as well. Okay. And we can communicate by telephone, texting, whatever. We've got to have other ways to communicate in case they shut down Facebook. But if you're somebody and you realize, like, look, at some point we have to take this physical, we're going to have to protest, we're going to have to go to the steps at Confederation Building, I would love to have a team with us. You know, we're willing to step up. We're not intimidated. Yeah, you know, court kind of sucked. But, you know, this is... what's life? You know, my father said to me, you know what, Brenda, your life was pretty boring before all of this happened. And now look what you're doing. You're really living life, and you're really standing on your principles and your morals. And going to court, while it was very stressful, it's been very interesting. Being arrested by those police officers that day was one of the most interesting experiences of my entire life. Reading the disclosure, again, very interesting. Learning so much about, you know, the police, and the government and the court systems. You know, so I don't regret any of that. And we've been able to use it to our advantage to get more support and more media coverage. So it's really important that we have to take action. Hey Mark, it's so good to see you here. Mark from Bay St. George South. Bay St. George South, we're being targeted too with these salt mines. People got to start asking questions. I mean, it's not just the one in Fischel's. There's a bigger salt mine in Robinson's. It's already under exploration. And look, if I could do this myself, I would do it, okay? But there's been so much bullying here. I'm being pushed out. My voice alone here in Bay St. George South is going to do nothing, okay? It's not safe for me to go down to the local service district. We got an office admin down there who's ready to lie about me, claim that I'm bullying. You know, it's incredible. It's very sad what's happened. And it is sad when you see people's masks slip, people that you've trusted for years, people that you might have known your whole life, picking money or what they think is going to be their money over their neighbors. So for the people who see the truth, and especially for our veterans, like, you fought for us, you fought for our freedoms, and it's slowly being taken away. There's times when I was like, man, I got to meet with the veterans in our area, because this is a big slap in your face, because you guys are the ones that fought for us. You went overseas, you risked your lives, you sacrificed time with your family, and now we're in a position where, you know, warfare is going to take a lot of different ways, and they're trying to take over our province right now, with these land grabs. It's really sad. They want to push us out. They want us industrialized, okay? So Mark, please, if you're out there, just start asking questions. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the map. Please, I'm asking you. There's people in our area that know the truth, and you know what they're going to do? They're moving. They don't care. They don't care. They see the truth and they're planning on moving. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It breaks my heart. Which is why I'll continue to focus on Bay St. George South at times, but I also have to go where people are willing to take a stand. People like Paul Pike, Debbie Beck, Alfred Drake, who just tuned in, the people on the Burin Peninsula, the people on the Port-au-Port Peninsula. You know, there's a lot of people in St. John's also seeing the truth. There's a lot of people standing now, and we have to. If you see the truth and you don't stand, it's going to eat you up inside. You might think that you can put your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening, but you know in your guts what's going on. So I see that it's almost 9 o'clock. I definitely think it's time for me to clue up. So just once again, you know, a huge thank you to everybody. Please keep commenting, and sharing our post, sharing our lives. We really do need your help. Keep increasing the numbers. Call out the government members by name: Hal Cormier, Carol Anstey, Jeff Dwyer, Paul Pike, the MHA, Jonathan Rowe. We had so much high hopes for you, but you're already thinking and worried about getting elected in 4 years. Oh, it's ridiculous. So again, thank you everybody for all of your hard work. Keep it up. Newfoundland and Labrador Power is just another reason to stick it to the residents of Newfoundland and Labrador. We are hydro rich. We are rich in minerals, resources. We should not be worrying about the price of gas or the price of groceries. If you commit to taking action, we can really turn this around. Turn it around in a way that people never dreamed of. To be finally treated the way that we deserve to be treated. We are the kings and queens. We hold all the cards. We don't need to be focused on exporting all of our resources. We focus on taking care of our residents first. That's where it has to happen. Hey Candace, all my love to you, girl. Thank you so much for everything. And you're a shining light, Candace Tobin. Hi Deneen, and the same to you too. All right, so I'm going to take off there now, and I'm wearing this shirt in honor of our action takers. And keep up the good work. Keep up the good fight. Know that our love for Newfoundland and Labrador and the people who live here is infinite, or as Lady Gaga would say, infinite. And we really can win back our province. Okay? So again, thank you all so much for being here. All my love and respect.